initial involvement with this topic was more or less a joke out of the assumption that this was a hoax. Seeing the panic and the conflicting reports spreading like wildfire everywhere I go online made me quickly understand that this was a recent event unfolding at high speed right before our eyes. But because everything happened so quickly and so much information is still being spread, I decided to make this video to clear up and document the events surrounding the infamous cat killer, who I would like to inform you is now in the custody of the police as of writing this video. This video will be discussing who this person is, the events that have unfolded surrounding them, without showing their private information or any of the gore associated. However, we will be discussing more sensitive topics and disturbing information, so if you're sensitive to these kinds of things, this is going to be your last warning. I also tried my best to get all of the information I'm discussing right, but because of how convoluted and mixed up all of the story events are, I might get something wrong or leave an important detail out. So I hope you forgive me if that ever happens. Around April 29th, online posts started surfacing with gruesome pictures about an unknown individual on Omegle and TikTok that had been showing people their collection of cat skulls, skinning cats alive, and just all around degenerate behavior relating to animal abuse and gore. Towards the beginning, the posts reporting the cat lady fell on deaf ears and were filled with a lot of misinformation, enough for it to sound like a hoax, which made a lot of people, including me, take it a lot less seriously, as everything most people knew about this person was hearsay rather than genuine proven fact. Even though only a few people were even aware of this person's existence at all, most of those people in this small group still didn't know much if anything about the situation other than the fact that there's an animal abuser on the loose, which is why it was so helpful that a big YouTuber like Mudahar made a video discussing and sharing all of the information that he knew about the cat killer to warn and inform viewers. However, many people drew parallels to the Don't Fuck With Cats documentary when discussing the situation, which is why the subreddit with the same name became the primary place of discussion regarding this person's identity. Traffic on the subreddit was relatively low until Muda made a video on it, but because of the insane amount of attention and information that was spreading, the subreddit quickly became an outlet for misinformation and doubt. It quickly got out of hand and a lot of people mistook an address related to her VPN as a real address, so much that some innocent person's house got raided. Enough false information like her fake address spread so much that Muda himself had to make another video urging people to stop trying to be armchair detectives and to especially stop threatening to go to people's homes and possibly confront some random people violently. This of course didn't deter many people from keeping on trying to find out who she was, but hopefully it was at least a wake-up call to some people to stop and reconsider their actions. Going back to the topic of this person's identity, how was she found? This is one of the most difficult questions that I had to research a lot in order to be able to answer, and going as far as to ask multiple people who investigated her themselves to get any sort of coherent response. And this is coming from someone who was there, as were people investigating her live, which just goes to show how fast a relatively large amount of important information was being unfolded about her from multiple sides and corners all over the internet. Now, the most well-known thing about this person is that they use multiple accounts on multiple different social media platforms to mess with people. All of these accounts have now been taken down either by the administrators of the platform or by the team of investigators that had found her information. I know it sounds counterproductive, but put a pin on it because I will get back to that. Ironically though, despite having multiple aliases and accounts, she used the same few details for most of them, which made it easier for people to find other accounts related to her on other platforms like Facebook, Amino, and so on. In only a short amount of time, people found a few Facebook accounts related to her account through multiple ways like groups, and at that point, all people had to do was try to confirm her identity. Now, this would have been easy seeing as she provided pictures of her face on her TikTok, but it's been confirmed multiple times that she was actually posting other random people's faces to try and throw a wrench into the investigation. She did multiple things like this, such as hinting that her address was somewhere in Texas, but as we have already discussed, that was just a VPN. Now, I assume people also looked at anyone who her account made any contact with, since people somehow got a hold of a person named Shelby. This person claimed to have known her in high school and gave people a first name, but nothing more since they forgot the rest of it. This was obviously taken with a grain of salt since there was no way of knowing if that person was lying or not, but in hindsight it was a lead that helped greatly at pointing everyone in the right direction. And while it wasn't confirmed, it was still better than nothing, so people kept on going with attempts to find her location, confirm how her face looked as well. Since I already established that most of the face pictures on her TikTok couldn't be trusted, people had to go off of Omegle, because even though only a few people encountered her, even fewer people thought to record her. They still managed to get glimpses that people used to make comparisons to Facebook images. These comparisons were convincing enough that it helped build confidence in the information that people found, which really only spelled doom for the cat killer. I would also like to mention that as soon as people found Facebook accounts relating to her, some of those accounts started deleting posts, making everyone all the more suspicious. But now that people had names and a face, all they needed to do was confirm the information that they already had about her. Many resorted to trying to find more information, others wanted to contact the people she already knew, and so on and so forth. None of that was needed though, because right as it came out that people figured out who she might be, she started a live stream on Facebook that was one of the most confusing but helpful things she could have ever done. It's as if she wanted to confirm her identity, because she allowed people watching the live stream to basically control her. She basically did anything people asked her to do, going as far as to go outside and show everyone how her house looked like. While the live stream was dark and somewhat low quality, there were little details and glimpses that people used to compare her Instagram and TikTok posts. Through this, they confirmed her house and address, her face, and even her full name. Some people decided to investigate even deeper into who she was, and found many accounts and pseudonyms and other miscellaneous information about her. But all they really needed was to take the information they had, including all the disturbing posts, evidence of her animal abuse, and report it all to the local police department. And that is exactly what happened. Except that's not all there is to this story. Whether or not she would be prosecuted for animal abuse is still up in the air for many reasons, the biggest one being that we don't have 100% concrete proof that she did in fact kill the cats. I had theorized that she was an actual taxidermist trying to creep people out with their work, but after contacting several people related to the investigation, I was provided with some footage of her actually abusing her cats. It's hard to say that this is exactly her because of others copying her for attention on Omegle and other websites. Speaking of which, Omegle has responded saying that they're taking this situation seriously and will be banning and reporting all copycats to the authorities, so you better report these people if you encounter them. Now yes, the pictures are gruesome and the threats are creepy, but even I can create a narrative like this on social media. So trying to look at it objectively, you start to realize that nothing is 100% confirmed in this case, which is why we need the help of the police in this situation. However, people don't seem to understand this and ended up calling for her death and doxing her. This is obviously very dangerous because of the implications that this may turn the whole situation around and possibly get innocent people in some sort of danger. A specific group on Discord trying to investigate her had to shut down multiple of her accounts and subreddits relating to investigate her, as they were all filled with death threats and false information. As I discussed earlier, doxing is especially dangerous in this case and might throw everyone's efforts out the window. Obviously everything was archived for the police and proper authorities, but the point still stands. People weren't risking it. Having random strangers find their homes and harass them, or even worse, isn't really something that would lead to a good outcome. She's in police custody and possibly being investigated as of writing this video, and that is really all we need right now. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I spent a long time writing and researching it, and I'm kind of still paranoid that I fucked up some part while writing it. So please forgive me if that did happen. I also wanted to mention that I was vague on purpose throughout this video, and I know some people might have noticed that. And the reason why is because it was really hard enough to just get a coherent timeline on its own. And there were a lot of reasons, it's really weird, but as I said, there were lots of important things like subreddits and Google documents that were being deleted, and that's why I couldn't really get into detail, because I didn't have the detail. So really, I just tried to give a coherent image out because a lot of people really didn't know what happened, and including my friends, and they were interested. So this is what this video is really for. Again, I hope you enjoyed this, but I wouldn't be making something like this in the near future because of how stressful it is. I'm planning to make some other videos, like some gaming related videos, but not something like this. But yeah. Good night, guys.